Solid Foundation, Israelite Academy. I am your host, Shabar Judah Israel. Once again, bringing you guys another awesome lesson on today. And the topic of discussion is you've been duped again. Yes, brothers and sisters, you have been duped again. We see Bree is watching, so we appreciate you, Bree, for tuning in. But a lot of brothers and sisters, they've been duped again. They've been duped again. And what I mean is they've been tricked. You know, basically they've been deceived. A lot of brothers and sisters have been deceived. Deceived on what? Tricked on what? Duped on what? Duped into believing that today is New Year's, in other words, which is technically January 1st, 2020. You hear a lot of brothers and sisters talking about making New Year resolutions and it's New Year's and I made it over. Last night we went to watch night service. Watch night service was great last night in church. You hear a lot of brothers saying this and a lot of sisters saying this. But I'm going to prove to you guys that it's not New Year's yet. All right. I'm going to prove to you guys that it's not New Year's. And if you believe that, then you truly an April Fool. You know, they say April Fools. Yeah, they call a lot of brothers and sisters April Fools because when that time come around, during the month of April, when it gets here, they call many brothers and sisters fools for believing that January 1st is New Year's. So if you believe that January 1st is New Year's, guess what, guys? Guess what, sisters? When April comes, I'm going to call you an April Fool. All right. So I don't want to prolong any more time. I'm going to get right into the lesson. What you're going to need for this lesson, you're going to definitely need a Bible, all right? So you're going to need a Bible for this lesson. Wait a minute, guys. So you're going to need a Bible. You're going to need a Bible for this lesson. Please get out your King James Bible, all right? For me, guys, I'm going to be reading from the Bible on the internet, all right? There is a website known as blueletterbible.org. So I'm going to be coming from that. It's the same as the King James, but I'm just going to be reading it on the internet. So guys, let's get into it. All right. So coming out the Bible, if you want to take notes, you can take notes. But I'm going to prove to you that January 1st, today is not New Year's. And you've been tricked, you've been duped, and you need to basically you need to reboot your minds because the government have deceived us all. So anyway, first and foremost, I'm going to show you facts. This is not opinions. This is facts. So how do we know that January 1st is not New Year's? Because if you do your research, you can go on, I believe it's pantheon.org, www.pantheon.org, and they would tell you the origin of the names of the months. Okay, so I'm going to show you on paper, all right, because I went over to the encyclopedia concerning pantheon.org, and it tells you the origin of the names of the months. And if you don't believe me, check this out. Look at here. You see right here, it says Encyclopedia Mythica. And it says origin of the names of the months, right? Now, when you go to January, you see that? It says January. January was named after the Roman god of beginnings, and endings, which is Janus. You see that? So Janus is a Roman god because all the months that we know of is named after Roman Greco gods. And also the weeks, the days of the weeks is named after Roman Greco gods because this is the revived Roman Empire. So we don't showed you Janus concerning the origin of the names of the month. I'm going to get back into it. Bree asked the question. Bree says, how do you spell that website? That is www.pantheon.org. Pantheon, PANTHEON.org. So once again, pantheon.org. And you can look into the origin of the names of the months. So let's get back into January. So we showed you guys, once again, January is named after the Roman god of beginnings and endings, Janus. It says the month Januarius. So Januarius was a Roman Greco god, and they named this month based on that Roman Greco god because they believe that January is, the beginning, but January is not the beginning. We're going to show you that March is actually the beginning because right here you see it. It says March, also known as Nisan in the Babylonian language. March is the first month of the year. So even the Romans knew that. So why would the Romans say that January was the beginnings? They never said January was the first month of the year. The Romans just believed that January was the beginning of things, like the opening of things. You see what I'm saying? The beginnings and the endings. But the Romans knew that if you're going to talk about the first month of the year, it was March, see? And it still is today. So March is the first month of the Roman year, and in its name is named after the Roman god of wars, Mars. So right there, you can see March is the first month of the year. And the Bible also says it. See, so the Roman Empire knew that March is the first month of the year. And also the Hebrew Israelites, according to the Bible, they know this as well. The prophets, according to the Bible, they knew that March is the first month of the year. It's not January. All right. So you can check this website out concerning pantheon.org, and you can see the origin of the names of the months for yourselves, guys. I don't have no reason to lie to you. January is not actually the first month of the year. January is actually the 11th month of the year. How do we know that? Because when you go down here, you see where it says December. December, the name comes from decim in Latin. So when you're talking about December, December is actually the 10th month of the year. It's not the 12th month. So December comes from the Latin word decim, which means 10, like a decade being 10 years, and like decimals. You see what I'm saying? Like powers of 10, dealing with decimals, the 10 parts and powers of 10. Even in Spanish, diez, which means 10. So you can see that December is actually a Latin term which comes from decim, which means 10. So December is the 10th month of the year. It's not the 12th month of the year. You see? But you've been tricked by the government. You've been tricked by this beast. You've been tricked by this beast. This system. Okay? Now, let's use some biblical references. Because I told you I was going into the Blue Letter Bible on the internet. So let's use some biblical references. And I'm going to show you to back my claim up using the Bible. Now, let's go to Daniel chapter 7. So get your Bible out and go to Daniel's in the Old Testament. Go to Daniel's chapter 7. And I'm going to show you guys something. Daniel chapter 7, because we've been duped again, guys. All right, so this is Daniel chapter 7. I'm going into it now, and you can follow me if you will. Daniel chapter 7, guys. And we're going to come to know something. Thank you for your time, Bree, and many others that's soon to tune in. All right. So now, Daniel chapter 7. I'm not going to break down the old chapter of Daniel chapter 7 because it's a long chapter to break down, but I'll give you a quick rundown. All right. So here's Daniel chapter 7 in the King James Bible. King James Bible, Daniel chapter 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. You see? And then Daniel 7:2, Daniel spake and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of heaven strove upon the great sea. Then he goes on to say that he saw these creatures, these mystified creatures. That's Daniel 7:3. He says he saw four great beasts that came up from the sea, diverse, meaning different from one another. So in Daniel 7:3, and Daniel chapter 7 verse 3, Daniel says that when he went into that vision, he went into that dream state, he beheld four great beasts that came from the sea, different from one another. Now these four great beasts, these represents nations of people. You see, these represent nations of people. Like in Daniel chapter 7 verse 4, he says the first was like a lion. All right, let me show you guys. Daniel 7:4, he says the first was like a lion. Now, what is that first being a lion? That's talking about the Babylonian Empire. Okay. The first was like a lion that had eagle's wings. That's the Babylonian Empire. You see, I beheld to the wings thereof was plucked, because we know that the Babylonian Empire, it soon failed. The Babylonian Empire collapsed. It eventually collapsed, because what happened to the Babylonian Empire? You had the Persians that came in and defeated the Babylonians. Okay. And then it goes on. Now, so let's look into Daniel's chapter. Let's look into Daniel's, the 5th verse out of Daniel's chapter 7. So let's look at Daniel 7:5. All right. We see Lakeland, Michelle, Martin is watching. Appreciate you for your time, sis. And I hope all is well. And what I'm doing, I'm just explaining that January 1st is not actually New Year's, that we've been deceived. So let's go back into the Bible and let's look at Daniel chapter 7 verse 5. Okay. Now, 5. So we went over the first beast that was like a lion. That was the Babylonian Empire. And then the Babylonian Empire was plucked up because the Persians came in and defeated the Babylonians. Daniel 7:5 says, and I beheld another beast. Now, the second beast was like a bear. That's talking about the Persian Empire. It says, and it raised up itself on one side. It had 3 ribs and the mouth of it between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, arise and devour man's flesh. So this second beast is the Persian Empire. Then it goes on to Daniel chapter 7 verse 6. It says, after this I beheld another like a leopard. Well, we know who defeated the Persians, the Grecians. So the Grecians eventually ends up defeating the Persian Empire. And that third beast is the leopard, which is the Grecians. Because you see, that's why Daniel had that dream about those 4 great beasts. Those are nations, no nations of people. So the lion represents the Babylonian Empire. The second being the bear that represents the Persian Empire. The third being the leopard that represents the Grecian Empire. And then the Grecian Empire, eventually, kind of came to a declining point, and then you had the Roman Empire that took over. And right here, this is exactly what Daniel 7:7 is saying. After this, in the night visions, and beheld a 4th beast. That 4th beast right there in Daniel 7:7. That 4th beast in Daniel 7:7 Daniel chapter 7 verse 7, that fourth beast is talking about the Roman Empire. And then it went from the Roman Empire to the revised Roman Empire, or the revived Roman Empire, which is America. So that's why I'm telling you guys, just pay close attention as I begin to cover this, and you're going to see what happened concerning how they got you to believe that January 1st is New Year's, and it's not New Year's today. But I'm going to show you what the empire did. I'm going to show you what the revived Roman Empire did to us. You see, so I'm going to continue on with this, and then I'll expound later. Now watch this. So you see, it says, yeah, man, Daniel 7 and 7. That fourth beast, that was the Roman Empire, man. Because it's only the Roman Empire, the white man. You see what I'm saying? And it was dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly. That's the Roman Empire. And it had great teeth, meaning that the Roman Empire had great military might. And it devoured and break into pieces. Because what happened? The Roman Empire subdued the Israelites, the Jews. The Roman Empire, they trodden over the Jews. You see what I'm saying? In 70 AD, they overpowered the Jews, and they overtook and destroyed Jerusalem. So it says, and it stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. So in Daniel 7 and 7, it says that the fourth beast was different from all the other beasts. You know why the fourth beast was different from all the other beasts? Huh? You know why? Because all the other beasts, their empire structure was totally different than from the fourth beast. Now watch this. I'm gonna show you something in Daniel 7 and 8. I gotta cover this before I can go any further. Now watch. Daniel chapter 7 verse 8. And I considered the horns, and beheld, there came up among them another little horn. That little horn right there is talking about America, the United States of America. There came among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. Because the 3 of the first horns that was plucked up by the roots, you had the Spanish-American War, the French-American War, and another one. I can't call it right now. But the cut to the chase, that little horn right there is talking about America, man. The United States. You see? And then he had eyes, you know what I'm saying? Behold, in the horn was eyes, like the eyes of a man, and a mouth speaking great things. That little horn right there that came up among, that's talking about America. You see? The United States. Okay, so we go on down to Daniel 7:25 for the sake of time. America do to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? What did America do to the black, Hispanics, and Native Americans? I'm gonna show you what America did, man. Watch this, because it's going down to the Babylonian Empire, and then the Persian Empire, and then the Grecian Empire, and then the Roman Empire. Those were the four great beasts. And then it goes down from the Roman Empire to the revived Roman Empire, which is that little horn, man, which is America. So what did America do to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in terms of making them believe that January 1st is New Year's? They changed the times. Now watch this. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and he shall wear out the saints, because the saints is the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We are the saints, the Israelites. So he shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and he shall think to change times and laws. So what did the so-called white man do? The so-called white man, he changed times and laws. That's why he got you believing this stuff, because he changed the ordinary times, and he also changed the laws. Dealing with his legislative branch, dealing with legislation, he changed the laws and the times. So you've been given the wrong time. And you thinking that January 1st is New Year's, you better think again, because the so-called white man that runs this government, which is the revived Roman Empire, he changed the times and laws. So when he did that, he threw everybody off. When he did that, he threw everybody off. Now you believe in that January 1st is New Year's. The Bible never said the 1st of January is New Year's. The Bible tells you actually the first month of the year is March, man, which is a bill. But when the so-called white man and his revived Roman Empire came into rulership, came into hierarchy, you know what I'm saying? Guess what he did concerning Daniel 7:25? He changed times and laws. Because anytime someone takes over someone else's empire, they're going to set it up according to how they like it. You know what I'm saying? If I took over your empire, I'm going to set it up the way I like it. You see, the hell with your empire. Your empire collapsed. I took it over. I subjugated your empire. So when the white man, the English settlers, when they colonized, killed, raped, robbed, and murdered the Native American Indians, and when they stole this government, when they stole this land, he set it up. He set it up like he wanted to. So he changed the times and laws, and he said, you know what? Even though we know March is the first month of the year, let me show you. See, March is the first month. March is the first month. March is the first month. This is the origin of the names of the months. So look, March is the first month, not January. January is the 11th month, because I showed you down here that December comes from the Latin word decim, which means 10. So the name comes from decim in Latin, which means 10. So December is the 10th month, followed by January follows, in which January is the 11th month, February. The name comes either from the old Italian god Februaris or else February, signifying the festivals of purification celebrated in Rome during this month. So February is the 12th month. Okay, guys. So February is the 12th month, and then March is the what? March is the first month. But guess what? The white man changed that when he came into power. You see? So going by the lunar calendar, if you go by the lunar calendar has 360 days in a year. If you go by the Gregorian calendar, which is the sun calendar, they added 5 days, like 365 days. It's not 365 days in a year. It's actually 360 days according to the lunar calendar. But when the white man came into power, he took over America. He took America from the Native Americans. He set the shit up how he want to set it up. You see? So now it's like they go by the Gregorian calendar, and they totally overlook the lunar calendar. Now they follow the sun calendar. Now they don't change times and laws, and got you thinking that January is the first month of the year. And it's not. It's March. But that's what happens when this beast came into power, like Daniel's chapter 7 talks about. He shall speak great words, and then it tells you right there in Daniel 7:25, he shall change times and laws, and they shall be given into his hand. Who? The Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. They shall be given into his hand into a time and dividing of times, and that's approximately, I believe there's a time and dividing of times. That's 1,203 score, if I'm not mistaken. I believe that's 1,203 score, which is like a time and dividing the time is like 350 years. You know, 350 years. So you might as well say 400 some odd years that the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans been given into this white man's hands. They shall be given into his hand. So the Israelites failed into the hands of the white man for breaking God's commandments. Into a time and dividing the times. You see? They shall be given into his hands. Meaning that we will be slaves to the government for breaking God's commandments. He chose the white man to rule over us. So we've been given into his hand for a time and dividing the time. I believe that's 1,000. 1,203 score. 1,203 score. Score in the Bible is 20. So that's 1,203 score years, which is like 1,203 score days. A time and time and dividing the time is 1,203 score days, which is like 350 years, man. Going on to 400 years. You see? So January is not the first month of the year, man. January is not the first month of the year. It's March. And if you still don't believe me, I got some more biblical reference to show you, and I'm going to close out. So let's go back to the chart. January is not the first month of the year. January is the 10th month. January is the 11th month, because December is the 10th month. And then you go back up, November. November, the name comes from novum in Latin, which means 9. So November is the 9th. Like the Hispanics, they say nueve. You see? So we see Vanessa Vallejo is watching. We appreciate you, sis, for tuning in. So November, the name comes from novum in Latin, which means 9. So November is the 9th month. Even the Hispanics, you can ask the Hispanics, the so-called Mexicans from the tribe of Issachar, the Hispanics would tell you that, how do you say 9 in Spanish? Nueve. How do you say 90 in Spanish? Noventa. You see? So how do you say 9 in Spanish? You say nueve. How do you say 90 in Spanish? You say noventa. So November, the month of November is the 9th month. You see? Because November comes from the Latin word novum, which means 9. So the month of November is not the 11th month. November is actually the 9th month, because it comes from the Latin word novum, which means 9. You can ask the Hispanics. Guess what? What comes from the Latin? What came out of the Latin? Spanish. Before it was Spanish, it was the Latin tongue. So what come out of the Latin language? The Spanish language comes from the Latin language. Even the Hispanics would tell you that November comes from the Latin word novum, which means 9. The Hispanics just says, they say nueve. So November is the 9th month. It's not the 11th month. But you've been tricked by this devil. The so-called white man in his government, he tricked us. He deceived us. That's why I said, don't believe the hype. Everybody telling you that January 1st is New Year's. Don't believe the hype, because January 1st, today is not New Year's. March is the first month of the year, not January. But if you want to believe the hype, go ahead and believe the hype. You've been had again. You've been tricked. You see? Vanessa Vallejo says, Happy New Year. Vanessa Vallejo, it's not New Year's yet, sis. But I understand. I understand how we've been tricked and following the government. This is what I'm trying to tell you, Vanessa. I'm trying to explain that it's not New Year's yet, sis. Because, like I said, March is the first month of the year. March would be New Year's. Concerning 2020, March will be New Year's, not January. So once again, Vanessa Vallejo, it's not New Year's yet, because January is not the first month of the year. That's what I'm trying to explain. March is actually the first month of the year. And you can just do the rest on your own. You can just look through these months of the years and see, like you got October. October comes from the Latin octo. October comes from the Latin word octo, which means 8. Like you got a shape called the octagon, which has 8 sides. You see? Like a stop sign. A stop sign has 8 sides. A stop sign has 8 sides because it's the shape of an octagon. An octagon has 8 sides. Anything dealing with octo or oct, it means 8, like an octopus. An octopus have 8 legs. An octagon has 8 sides. An octomom has 8 children. So what about October? October is actually the 8th month of the year. You see? October is actually the 8th month of the year. October is not the 10th month. It's the 8th month. You can see this stuff on your free time for yourselves. October, the name comes from Octo, which means 8. October, the 8th month. September comes from Septum, which means 7. The name comes from Septum, which means 7. September, like a septagon. You see? A septagon has 7 sides. Anything dealing with septum means 7. Like a septagon, it has 8 sides. So what you think September is? September is the 7th month. But guess what America tells you? They tell you that September is the 9th month. You see? You've been tricked. You've been deceived. The Bible tells you that this great red dragon deceived the whole world. Who is that great red dragon? That's the white man that runs the government. Because the white man is the devil. He's the deceiver. This is not a racial comment. This is the truth. You've been given into the hands of the white man, and he owns you and he runs you. He runs this government. So he lied to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. The white man is the devil according to the Bible because he's the deceiver. That's what devil means. It means deceiver. So if you're thinking that January today, January 1st is New Year's, you've been deceived by the white man. You've been deceived by the government because January is not the first month of the year. It's March. So I know what a lot of may say. I know what a lot of people are saying. Well, show me in the Bible if March is the first month of the year. Show me in the Bible if you say that March is the first month of the year and you are a Bible believing man. Show me in the Bible. I'm about to show you in the Bible. Come on, guys. I'm about to show you. Hold your horses. You can see right here, dealing with, now September means 7. So that's the 7th month. What about August? August, originally, this month was called Sextilis. This month was called Sextilis. Now what it means from sextus, which means 6. So August comes from the term sextus or sextilis, which means 6. August comes from the Latin word sextilis or sextus, which means 6. So what is August? Is August the 8th month of the year? No, August is actually the 6th month of the year. So August is not the 8th month. August is actually the 6th month, which comes from the Latin word sextus or sextilis. So you've been had again. And you're going to tell me that January, the 1st of January today, is New Year's. That's a lie. Let me close out this lesson, guys. I thank you for your time. Let me go ahead and show you in the Bible that March is actually the first month of the year. Okay, so it's not New Year's yet, but it will soon be when March hits. Now, I'm going to show you something in the Compact Bible Dictionary, guys. You see this? I hope you guys can see it. I want to show it to you from my view. So let me flip the camera. It says the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Bree, Vanessa, Wanda Smith, Lakeland, Michelle Martin. It says the Compact Bible Dictionary, right? Now we're going to go in here and I'm going into the term Abib, and that's A-B-I-B. I'm going into here to show you that March is actually the first month of the year and it's not January. So we're going to prove it with the Bible that January is not the first month of the year. How about that? So let's go into it. Let's go into it, guys. Now I want to show you, first and foremost, let's get Deuteronomy 16 verse 1. Let's get Deuteronomy 16 verse 1. So go to the Old Testament in the Bible and go to Deuteronomy 16 verse 1. You got a lot of Christians saying that watch night service was great last night. We had a great time in church. Watch night service. We brought in a new year. It's not even the New Year's yet. These Christians are lost. These Christians are deceived. So if you went to church last night thinking you bringing in a new year and you was shouting and running all around, it's a waste of time. You wasted your time. Watch this, guys. Deuteronomy 16 verse 1. Deuteronomy 16 verse 1, and this is in the King James Bible, the KJV. Deuteronomy 16 verse 1, it says, observe the month of Abib. Now, let's focus on this word right here. Let's focus on that word, Abib, A-B-I-B, because it tells the Israelites, which are the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, it says, observe the month of Abib. Now, what in the hell is the month of Abib? The month of Abib is March, and I'm going to prove it. The month of Abib, according to Deuteronomy 16:1, Deuteronomy chapter 16 verse 1, it tells you to observe the month of Abib. What is that? March. You don't believe me? You don't believe me? You don't have to. Let's go into the Bible dictionary and go to Abib. Now we're going to Abib in the Bible dictionary. Watch this, guys. You will be amazed. You will be amazed. Watch this. Now, it says Abib. You see that? This is page 13. It says what? It says Abib. Abib, what does it mean? It means an ear of corn. The pre-exilic name for the first month of the year. You see that, guys? The pre-exilic name for the first month of the year. Abib is the first month of the year. Now, what did it tell you in Deuteronomy 16 verse 1 in the Bible? Watch. It says, Deuteronomy 16 verse 1, that we should observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover. This is said to the Israelites, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. So it tells you that in the Bible, Deuteronomy 16 verse 1, that we should observe the month of Abib. When is the month of Abib? What month is that? Because truly indeed it is a month. So what month is it? Let's go back to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Page 13. Abib means the pre-exilic name for the first month of the year. And that name was changed to Nisan in the Babylonian tongue. And it fell about the time of our March and early April. So Abib fell about the time of March and early April. It's telling you right here on page 13 that Abib is the first month of the year. Just like Deuteronomy 16:1 in your Bible says, observe the month of Abib. When is that? March. March is the first month of the year. You've been tricked by the government. This great red dragon, this beast have deceived many of our people. That's why I'm telling you. The white man and his government is the devil because they are the deceivers. They have deceived you and you have followed this beast. You've been deceived by this beast. What it says in Revelation 12:9. Revelation 12:9 says, and the great red dragon which deceiveth the whole world. Revelation 12:9 says, the great red dragon which deceiveth the whole world. You see, I'm going to tell you, man, the white man have tricked all of us. You got to start over. You got to be born again. Just like Christ told Nicodemus. He said, you must be born again. What that means, you got to mentally be born again because you've been deceived. Everything that you have been led to believe is a lie, man. You've been deceived. You got to reboot your mind. You got to reset your mind because this beast, this white man and his system, corporate America, has lied to you for eons of time. You've been lied to. So don't come and question me about January being the first month of the year because it's not. All right? Deuteronomy 16, verse 1. Observe the month of Abib, which is March, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, which is March, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night. So now we can see we can see the appointed time when we came out of Egypt. We can see the appointed time when when the Israelites, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we can see this is the appointed time that we was liberated from the hands of our oppressors, the Egyptians. This is the very month that we came out of Egypt from being slaves for 430 years, the month of Abib. And it tells you that's the first month of the year. That's the pre-Israelic name for the first month of the year. Come on, guys. The month of Abib is March. People walking around here talking about Happy New Year's. It's not New Year's yet. What are you guys are talking about? Come on. Watch this. Abib, A-B-I-B. That is in the Hebrew 24 in the concordance. Abib. I'm clicking into it. Watch this. Now, it says Abib. You see? Now, that's a verb. No, that's not a verb. But anyways, I'm going to show you. Let me go on down. I'm going to show you the outline of the biblical usage. It says fresh young barley, ears, barley. And then it goes on to say the month of ear forming. That's talking about corn growing, because we know that crops begin, the crops begins to blossom in spring around the time usually of March or early April, right? It says month of ear forming, of greening of crop, of growing green, Abib. And then it says the month of Exodus and the Passover. Now, what does Abib, what it says right here, it says March or April. It says March of April. It can be March sometimes, and it can be early April, but no later than March. So Abib can be early April following March following it. Now, when you go back, like I told you, all right, in the Bible, this is in the Bible. Y'all see this? Listen up, guys. Listen up. Bree, Tiffany Butler, appreciate your time, sis. And all the rest of you guys that are tuned in. Listen up. I went into the Bible. This is the last time. This is the last time I'm going to show you this. This is in your Bible. This is in your holy Bible. All right. So I went into the Bible. Look, Deuteronomy 16 verse 1. That's in the King James Bible. And it says, observe the month of Abib. Abib is March or sometimes early April. The month of Abib. For the last time. What that means? What do that means? For the last time. Let's look into the Bible dictionary. For the last time. Let's look into the Bible dictionary. It tells us to keep Abib. Page 13. Abib. A ear of corn. That's when corn begins to sprout. It says the pre-Israelic name for the first month of the year. And when is the first month of the year dealing with Abib? It says it fell about the time of our March and early April. So Abib can be early April. It can be like early March or April. It's sometime around March and April, what I'm trying to point to you guys. You see what I'm saying? So Abib, like I said, Abib is the first month of the year, and it's March. Abib is the first month of the year, and it's March. So January is not the first month of the year. January is not the first month of the year. January is actually the 11th month of the year. Guys, if you want to rewind the video, you want to go back and watch the video, for those who tuned in kind of late, just go back and watch the video. Go back and watch all the video. And I'm just trying to prove to you guys that January today, 1st, is not New Year's. March is New Year's according to the Bible. All right. So this is the last verse I'm going to in the Bible, and then I'm gone. And then I'm gone, guys. Hopefully I said something to open your eyes up. Hopefully I said something to edify you guys, to get you to stop believing that January 1st today is New Year's. No, New Year's is March. And so when that time come around, when April come around, they say you are April Fool. They say April Fools for they say April Fools for the ones who want to believe that today is New Year's. So when the time of April come around, they say April Fools, April Fools, April Fools, because you was a fool for believing today is New Year's when New Year's is actually March. That's what I'm trying. So the last book, chapter, and verse I'm going to give, and I'm gone. The last book, chapter, and verse I'm going I'm gone after this. Back in the Bible. This is Exodus. Back in the Bible, Exodus 12:2. Now, it's talking about the month of Abib still. It says, this month shall be unto you the beginning of months. This is Exodus 12:2. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. So the first month of the year is Abib, like we showed you. This month shall be the first month of the year to you. This month shall be the first month of the year to you guys. So the first month of the year is Abib. So when you see this in the Bible, once again, when you see that in the Bible, A-B-I-B, whenever you see that in the Bible, Abib, that's the first month of the year, and that means March. So March is the first month of the year, not January. So I'm gone, guys. Thank you for your time. I'm gone, guys. This is what Adam Bell says. Adam Bell says, I'm telling people happy winter solstice because that's what it really has been since December 21st. It says people do what everybody else does. The more you listen to gospel and lies, the more you fail, the more you fall for it. This is what Adam Bell says. The more you listen to gospel and lies, he says, the more you fall for it. And then he also says, fall for the trickery. The less truth you know about life. See, this can be a new season, isn't a new year as far as the ecliptic until nature blossoms again. Exactly. Because nature blossoms, when nature blossoms again, that's around the time of March. He said, what is a new without time, frequency, and without nature? What are people celebrating? I guess them being out of season, apparently trying to add to their life like everybody else. So Adam Bell, man, my brother, I'm not taking away from that. You are definitely on point because, us being conscious people, not to say everybody else is not conscious, but I'm saying like a lot of our brothers and sisters are totally asleep out here, man. So Adam Bell, you on point. You on point like a pyramid because Adam Bell says, I'm telling people happy winter solstice because it's winter solstice. This is the winter solstice. The spring equinox kicks in during March. You see what I'm saying? That's when the spring equinox kicks in. So you talking about Happy New Year. It's not New Year's because it's still the winter solstice. It can't be a new year because everything is kind of dead. Nature is in its dead state. Nature is in a dead state. You got the leaves still falling on the trees. You got the thorns and thistles. The thorns and thistles dried out. You see what I'm saying? So Adam Bell, you exactly right, my man. I just wish a whole lot of brothers and sisters, they mind was open up to see this and realize that January 1st it's not the first month. January is not the first month of the year. And I don't showed you guys this. So you were right. Adam Bell says this is the winter solstice because that's what really has been since December 21st. It's the winter solstice. So how in the hell are you going to believe that it can't be a new year? It can't be a new year because nature teaches you that it's not a new year. It's not a new year because nature says it. Pay attention to nature. Everything is hibernating. The bears are hibernating. The mammals are hibernating. The snakes are hibernating. Everything is pretty much, everything is pretty much confined. It's still hibernating. The leaves are falling from the trees. The branches, look at the trees, man. Look at what's around you and you tell me, is it a new year? It's not a new year. A new year kicks in when the greenery begins to come back on the trees. The plants begins to blossom. The leaves begins to sprout again. That's the revitalization of life, which is the month of March, man. So I just don't want to go on and on about this. I don't like I said, guys, I don't prove to you that January 1st is not the first month of the year. If you guys don't believe me, go back and please, all of you, go back and please watch this video. Please go back and watch every bit of this video. If you tuned in late, Keith Wilson, go back and watch the video if you tuned in late. Adam Bell, go back and watch the video if you tuned in late. Terry Johnson, go back and watch the video if you tuned in late, and you will see that January 1st is not the first month of the year. Point blank, period. Guys, I thank you for your time. Until next time, peace and blessings and much love be upon you. And remember, guys, wisdom, that's what you need in order to succeed in this generation of time. I'm out.